All right. So, circumference, okay? Circumference all right, circumference is like the perimeter of a rectangle. Remember, we wrote this like 50 times. Perimeter is the what? Oh, do we need to write it? No. Perimeter is the
Outside.
the distance around the outside of a shape. So perimeter of a rectangle, it's just like that. It's the distance around a circle. Circumference, around the circle, not in the circle, around the circle. Okay? The formula, you don't have to have this memorized, thankfully, because it's on your yellow formula sheet where it says circumference of a circle. Look at it, see it, find it. Okay? There's two, it's also here, yes. There's two formulas. You have, guess what the C stands for? Circumference equals this little squiggly thing. So basically you make a miniature 11 with a squiggly top hat. We call it pi. Alright? Pi d, or circumference equals 2 pi r. We'll talk about what I told you. I know that looks like a foreign language because it technically is. It's Greek. But we're going to talk about it in just a second. It's that little funky symbol that's on your calculator that you're thinking, what's that? Okay. Well, guess what? We're going to learn, what's that? Like my nephew says. Now he says, what's that for? Well, this is what that's for.
My brother's been all about this.
Oh. Circumference over diameter. That's in the song.
Alright. So, diameter. Should be diameter. Don't knock somebody out. Diameter. Okay. Part of the circle that passes through the center of the circle to the other side. So if I draw a picture of it, there's the center. It passes through the center. That's a key part. It passes through the center. It's like the equator of the earth. Diameter. Okay?
Trying to be a ballerina?
That's right. So, diameter is abbreviated with a D. Okay? Radius is part of the circle. Where's radius? Show me radius. Radius. Yeah. Okay? It's part of the circle that is half the diameter. Diameter, half radius. Diameter, half radius. Okay? It runs from the center of the circle to the end of the circle. So the diameter goes from side to side. The radius starts at the center and only goes to one side. Okay, that's your radius. And then we have pi. Pi. Not P-I-E, like the pie you eat. Pi, like the Greek word. Okay, pi. Pi is the ratio. Remember, ratio, we can write it as a fraction. Right? Ratio means fraction. Of the circumference. So circumference is first to the diameter. So basically, if you take the diameter of a circle and you wrap it around the circle, you can wrap it around 3.14-ish times. So pi equals the circumference over the diameter. Yes?
In ag, last semester, we had to get the diameter of the trees.
Uh-huh. So the symbol for pi is like a miniature 11 with a squiggly top hat, or it looks like a weird N. Okay? It's a fancy 11 with a top hat.
Can't you just do it like a little line
I mean, I guess so, yes.
the same one?
Alright? It's approximate, meaning about. The symbol we use for approximate is the little wiggle wiggle. Means it's about, but not exact. It's a wiggle wiggle. Okay? The approximate value is 3.14 or 22/7. Does anybody know why it's an approximate and not exact?
Because pi goes on forever.
Pi is infinite. It never ends. There's actually a dude on the YouTube who has like the first 1,000 digits memorized to
Oh,
pi.
he's talking about, no, that's his son. That's his son. He only knows 10, but his son does.
Yeah. But it's like ridiculous. So instead of doing all of that, we know 3.14 is the given approximation of pi that we use, or 22/7. Okay? Not that many. Alright, revolution is not this kind of a revolution. Revolution here is, it's around. How many times the distance it travels in one turn? One complete turn around a circle. What is revolution similar to? Which of the vocabulary words? Which one has the same symbol that we wrote?
Circumference.
Circumference. These two things are the same. Okay? So, what are we going to do with all this? Pi is represented by the symbol squiggle, and it's the ratio of the circle's circumference to the diameter. We've already written that. You can use this relationship to find a formula for circumference. Remember, circumference is the distance around. So we know that pi is equivalent to the circumference over the diameter. Well, we already know what pi is equal to. What if I'm trying to find the circumference? Well, I can rearrange these, right? Let's say I want to know what C is. How do I move D to the other side to get C by itself? How do I move anything to the other side? If I'm solving for C, I part the waters, isolate C, so I got to move D. What operation is D currently doing? Dividing, so the opposite would be? So we would move D over using multiplication, so it would be pi times D. So circumference equals pi times D. You don't have to have it memorized because it gives it to you on the formula sheet, but that's how they get it. Alright, we've already talked about this. How are the diameter and the radius related? How many radiuses does it take, radii does it take to make a diameter?
2.
2. So the diameter is equal to 2 times the radius. So 2r, or 2 radius, equals 1 diameter. So let's say instead of having the diameter, they give us the radius, we would use the formula pi equals 2r. You pick the formula based off the information that you have. If it gives you the diameter, you use the diameter formula. If you have the radius, you use the radius formula. Okay? Questions on that so far? The biggest thing is which is bigger, the diameter or the radius? Diameter or radius, which is bigger? Diameter. And how many of the radius does it take to make a diameter? 2. Okay? So, if my radius is 4, what is my diameter? If this is 4 and this, if my radius is 4, if this is 4,
8.
then I would add another 4 and my diameter would be 8. If my diameter is 12, if my diameter is 12, then my radius is 6. That's part of your homework. Did you know that? You just tell them what to do. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Word.
Yep. All right, so Juanita, I thought this was a piece of hamburger meat when I first looked at it. It's flowers. It's flowers. I was just hungry. All right, Juanita wants to put a circular fence around the edge of the circle garden shown. How much fencing will she need? She wants to go around the edge, which is finding the what? Circumference. So, which is the perimeter. You're correct. But for a circle, the circles are fancy and they have their own word for perimeter, which is circumference. You have the formula sheet. Look at the formula sheet. Look at the information you're given. Are you given the diameter or the radius? So look at your formula sheet. Which formula are you going to pick? The first one or the second one?
First one.
Look at the yellow formula sheet where it says circumference of a circle. It's the very first thing on there. You're going to use the first formula. Circumference equals pi times diameter because you have the diameter. It tells us to use 3.14 for pi. So you're going to substitute or replace pi with 3.14. You're going to replace your diameter. What's the diameter? 14. So you're going to pick up your handy dandy calculator and you're going to do 3.14 times 14. 43.96. Notice, does it have an equal sign or an approximate sign? It's got a wiggle to it. Because 3.14 is a rounded number. It's not the exact pi. Okay? If we wanted the exact pi, we would leave the pi symbol there and we would put the 14. So, in your calculator, put 14 and then the pi symbol. It's the third button under the green button. And then hit the double arrows.
43.
And you get 43.98229, which is really close to 43.96, right? They're close. This is the exact answer. This is the approximate answer. They equal the same thing. Okay? Is somebody going to sell you 43.96 feet of fence?
Good.
No, what are they going to sell it to? So she needs about 44 feet of fencing. Okay? For the garden, not the hamburger patty that I thought it looked like before it got grilled. Does that not look like on your paper raw hamburger meat? Like a raw hamburger patty?
14 foot worth of hamburger patty?
Listen, okay? Listen, Linda. It's the world's largest cheeseburger, is what I thought they were making. Okay? So, the circumference means the distance around, you should be thinking, looking at your formula sheet, of a men's adult basketball hoop is 56.52 inches. That's the basketball hoop. It's circumference. The diameter, right, the diameter of the basketball is about 9.55 inches. Show that the ball can fit through the hoop. Which has to be bigger? The hoop, okay? For the basketball to go into it. Okay, so show that the ball can go in it using 3.14 for pi. Find the diameter of the hoop using the formula. Alright, so we fill in the information that we have. We know that the circumference is what? 56.52. So what can we replace with 56.5? So we substitute it. 52. We know what we want to use for pi. So now we can solve for D. I have 56.52 equals 3.14 D. Part the waters like Moses do. Isolate the variable. Do the opposite. So right now it's doing, so we need to, on both sides. That goes away. So we end up with 56.52 over 3.14, which gives me 18. So this is the basketball hoop. Here's my basketball hoop. It has a diameter of 18. Here's my basketball. What did it have a diameter of? Will the basketball go into the hoop? It's actually about halfway, right? About 9, about 18. The basketball's half the size of the hoop. That's why it can bounce back and forth in the hoop. So the diameter of the hoop is about 18 inches, which is or is not greater than the diameter of the basketball. Is the hoop greater than the basketball? Yes. Can you play basketball? Yes. If it was not bigger, then you could not play basketball. It would be rigged. It wouldn't work. Okay? Alright, it says find the missing circumference, diameter, and radius of each circle. We've got to decide what are we given and what do we need. Alright, we're given here what? The diameter equals 6 inches. We want to find the circumference. Look at your formula sheet. If you're given the diameter, what formula do you need? Circumference equals pi times diameter. You have to write the formula down. In your homework tonight, you have to plug in the formula. Then you replace what you have. You don't have the circumference. What do we use for pi? 3.14. What's the diameter?
6
times 6. So what's 3.14 times 6?
18.84.
So that's about 18 point what? 84. Or if we left it in terms of pi, it would be C equals 6 pi. Either one of those. All right, number 5. What information do you have? Radius. Show me radius. It's just one arm. So your radius is 10 feet. So your diameter would be, but we're given the radius, so which formula are you going to use? Look at your formula sheet. You've got two options. You got pi d or you've got 2 times pi r. Which one are you going to use? Do you have an r or do you have a d? You have an r, so you use the formula with the r. Replace it with the information that you know. You don't know the circumference. 2 is 2. Pi is 3.14. R is 10. So then you put it in your calculator. 2 times 3.14 times 10. Gives me 16.8 feet. If I wanted to write this in terms of pi, okay, I would want to leave it the pi, but I would combine my 2 and my r, which is what would be what? I'm sorry. Thank you. 62.8. Thank you. All right, you combine your 2 and your r, so your 2 times 10, which Action already said would be, so either one of those would be correct. Look at number 6. What information are you given?
The circumference.
The circumference. What are you looking for?
The radius.
The radius. So which of these formulas are you going to use? From 4 or from 5? You're looking for the radius. So are you going to use the one with the D or with the R? Alright, so I start with my formula. Replace it with the information that you know. So C is 25.12. 2 is 2. Pi is 3.14. We don't know what R is. Combine like terms. 2 times 3.14. 6.28. R. Part the waters. How are we going to move 6.2 R?
Divided.
So 25.12 divided by 6.28 is you 4. So your radius is 4 inches. And that's what your homework is. Page 4 on your notes is what your homework is tonight. Okay?